Did it do it? Hello? Hello, hello. Are we live? I hope so. Hello, night dwellers. Welcome to Twisted Tales Live for the early gown reveal. Green and gold. Hello, 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 night dwellers. How is everyone? Can you see the gown? Green and gold. Full. A ball gown. One of my absolute favorites, no doubt. Hello, night dwellers, come on in. Doing a full gown reveal. You might be able to see it in its entirety from over here. Here you are actually getting the full effect. Let me turn it just a little bit for you. There. Is that better? Can you see it? Green and gold. Hello, hello, hello. I'm so glad that you like it. Hello over there in YouTube land. Green is the color of choice for true crime, serial killer Tuesday. I wish you could see the magnificence of this gown. It is absolutely breathtaking. Do you see the details? Look at this. This is by far my favorite gown so far. Hello, Kimmy. Hello. This is the dress review for True Crime Serial Killer Tuesday. Welcome. I'll show it for one more minute. I think I've lost more weight. Fits perfectly now. Hello, Deanna. Tracy, thank you. This is the True Crime Serial Killer gown. And this lovely thing is the veil. Green with a tinge of blue. Are we ready for story night? I think so. Tonight is True Crime Serial Killers. Both of these stories are stories I've never heard before, ever. But I am telling them tonight. I wonder if you have. Come here. My cat was bothering me. One more time. This is the gown. The back. The front. The embroidery. And this is the veil. Are we ready? Yes, it's time to move on to the dark chamber. Let's begin. I hope that everyone saw the gown. That will be my one time showing the gown. These dresses, these ball gowns, they are quite difficult. Let go, Citrine. Let go. My cat, of course. Let go. Citrine. This is one long veil. I knew you had it. I knew it. Citrine, what am I going to do with you? No. All right, let's get everyone situated and ready. Sorry if I'm making everyone dizzy. But I wanted to make sure that everybody was seeing the beauty of these gowns in the proper setting with full light. This gown probably weighs 10 pounds, I think. I believe. I see you in here, Citrine. I see you. Come on in, make yourselves at home. And let's prepare for story time. Is that good? I think so. I think that went pretty well, considering. Hello, everyone. Hello, everybody. And welcome to Twisted Tales Live. Serial Killer, True Crime, Tuesday. I think the gown reveal went pretty smooth, don't you? Tonight I will be staying on TikTok for my normal time of 2 hours. This crown is very tight. And I don't know if you're able to tell, but it's green. I finally have my green crown. And I am so happy. There we are. Ooh. Let me see if I can loosen this just a bit. That is tight. The things I do for my show. Hello there. Hello, hello, hello. No, Bugsy, I did not see. Hello, Mia. Hey, Spider Witch. Hey, Julie. Hello, Melanie. Hello, Kathy Pisani. How are you? Hey, Kimmy. Hey, Rolando. Hello, Angel Vibes. Angel Vibes. Thank you for the follow. Good evening, Blue Eye Blonde. Hello, Shirley. Hello, Clifton. How are you? Where is this beautiful veil? Maybe too hot for it. Hello, Eric Jones. Hello, Mia. Hello, Linda. I'm so glad you like the background. I love it too. Let me see if I can do this. Come on in, make yourselves at home. There we are. Hello, Aurora. Hey, Jester. Oh, thank you, Bugsy. Thank you so much. Hello, legend of the 80s. Hey, kiddo at heart. Everybody, prepare for tonight. I had never heard of these stories. We'll begin in about 5 more minutes. Viewer's discretion is advised. Hello, Catherine. Oh, Bugsy, I'm losing count. But I am very quickly narrowing it down to my favorites. So the red, of course, For Blood in the Snow is one of my favorites. The green is absolutely beautiful. The blue is lovely. The purple that I'm wearing Friday night. And then I have a gold gown that just came. It took a while for it to get here, but I'm excited to see it. Hello, Lulu. Hello, Missy. How are you? Angel Vibes, Blood in the Snow is not for sale yet. I'm in the process of writing it. But you can listen to it on YouTube if you wish. Let's go over to YouTube and see who we've got. Hello, Elliot the Silly. How are you? Hey, Mary. Hello, Ducky. Thank you. Hello, Bird. Oh, thank you so much. Sam, thank you for the compliment. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello, Mia. Hey, Kimmy Sanford. Oh, thank you, Mia. Thank you. If you want to pop over on YouTube and hang out there, you're more than welcome to do it. We're trying to make it seem like our audience is a little bit bigger on YouTube. If you build it, they will come, right? What is my favorite horror movie? I'm gonna have to say my favorite horror movie. That's tough. That is really, really tough. Let me think about that for a few minutes because so many are coming to mind. I would say of all the movies that has scared me the most would have to probably be Halloween, Michael Myers. Thank you for tapping the screen. Hello, Leslie. How are you? Hello, Toe Jam. How are you? 1 minute. Exorcist is good. There are so many. I guess I kind of put it into a category which movie keeps me up at night. Oh, I'm so glad. Who's ready for some scary stories? Who is ready for true crime serial killers? Let me know in the comments. Let's check the music. How is the music for everyone? Are you ready? The music sounds good. How about YouTube? How's the music? Hello, Robin B. All ready? Then let's begin. Welcome, night dwellers, to the night realm. I am the Night Queen, and I tell scary stories. Tonight is True Crime Serial Killer Tuesday. For our first story, I'm going to tell about a woman who was unnamed for nearly 30 years. She was found dismembered, her torso dumped in a plastic bin near Gilgo Beach. The only clue to who she had been was a faded tattoo of a peach. Have you heard of this story? If you haven't, then sit back and prepare for the telling. But first, lower your lights. Light a candle for ambiance. Hello, James Schwartz. How are you, darling? Lock your doors. Bolt them. Pull your curtains nice and tight. Wrap yourself up in your warmest blanket to avoid the chills that are about to enter your room. For decades, she was just a nickname in a cold case file. They called it Peaches. Why? Because she had a tattoo on her body of a peach. Then, years later, the remains of a small child were discovered nearby. Her toddler daughter, also unidentified. No names, no justice, until now. In 2024, after decades of silence, forensic genealogy finally uncovered the truth. And I'm going to tell that story now. Chapter 1. The Tattoo and the Bin. June the 28th, 1997. Hampstead Lake State Park, New York. A man walking through Hampstead State Park late one morning saw something bobbing in the water. A green Rubbermaid container. Curious, he dragged it to shore, and what he saw would stay with him for the rest of his life. What was in the container bin? Inside the bin was a dismembered female torso, wrapped in a dark towel and stuffed in plastic. Viewers' discretion is strongly advised. It had no head, no arms, no legs. But there was something else. Etched into the woman's left breast, still visible despite decomposition for days, was a tattoo of a bright orange peach with 2 green leaves and a bite missing. The medical examiner listed the remains as a biracial woman, or perhaps black, early to mid-20s. She had given birth. She had been cut apart cleanly and deliberately. Detectives called her Jane Doe, but unofficially, everyone in the police department and news stations began to call her Peaches. She was labeled as a probable lady of the evening. No one came forward to claim her. Her head, arms, and legs were never found, and the case went cold. And Peaches, she faded into the shadows of so many unsolved homicides. Chapter 2, The Child by the Bay. April the 4th, 2011. Jones Beach, Long Island. It had been nearly 14 years since Peaches was discovered in that Rubbermaid bin. Her case had completely faded, collecting dust in another cold case file. Until police, while investigating the Gilgo Beach murders, found something else. In a stretch of sand near Cedar Beach, a police cadaver dog signaled, barking wildly. Investigators ran to see what the cadaver dog had found. Investigators unearthed a garbage bag, wrapped lightly in black plastic. Inside were the skeletal remains of a very small child, a baby girl. Forensic examiner had a dentist to look at her teeth. She was barely 2 years old. Her discovery made headlines briefly, but no one knew her name. No one stepped forward. And like Peaches, she was labeled only by her location. And sadly, they named her Baby Doe. But there was something else. Something that made the detectives stop. The DNA in Baby Doe's bones matched Peaches. This little girl was the daughter of the woman who was found 14 years ago in a Rubbermaid bin. And now, both of them had been dumped, years and miles apart. 2 lives, 2 murders, 1 connection, but still no names. The DNA was entered into the national database, and unfortunately, there were no hits, no birth certificates, no dental records, No missing persons report that matched both victims. It was as if Peaches and her baby had been erased from the world. The only clues police had were fragments, a faded tattoo of a peach, a plastic container, a mother and daughter found near Gilgo Beach, and the possibility that their killer may have struck again. Chapter 3, The Science of Memory. 2022 through 2024, a breakthrough through blood. For years, Peaches and Baby Doe remained sealed inside cold case files, nameless, rootless. Their skeletons sat in evidence lockers, their names whispered only by a few stubborn detectives who absolutely refused to let them disappear completely. One detective said, "I don't care. I'm not resting until I find out who did this to that woman and her baby daughter." And then technology caught up with tragedy. In 2022, forensic genetic genealogy, the same science that helped capture the Golden State Killer, was applied to the mystery of Peaches and Baby Doe. Tiny fragments of DNA were extracted from Peaches' bone tissue. Using public genealogy databases, forensic experts began to piece together a family tree, one relative at a time. It took years, hundreds of dead ends, thousands of comparisons. But in early 2024, a miracle happened. They found a match. The woman, known only by her tattoo, only by the label that they had given her, Peaches, finally had a name. Tanya Denise Jackson, a 26-year-old Army veteran from the Bronx. Tanya was a daughter, a sister, a mother, and her little girl, Baby Doe, was her real child, and her name was finally released, Tatiana Marie Dykes. Tanya had lived, she had laughed, she had also struggled, she had obviously loved. She had disappeared between 1996 and 1997, just as her daughter was learning to walk. And not one soul, not one person reported them missing. Their erasure had been almost complete until now. Their names were spoken aloud at a press conference in Nassau County. Tanya Denise Jackson and her daughter Tatiana Marie Dykes have been identified. And I can promise you, they will not be forgotten. Chapter 4, did away with Tanya and Tatiana. The investigation, 2024. Now that Tanya and Tatiana had names, detectives had new momentum. They wanted to go back to the old leads, reread old interviews, track down former neighbors, friends, relatives, even army contacts. But unfortunately, they came up empty. What they found was silence. Tanya had slipped through the cracks. They investigated her military records, and they were thin. She had gone AWOL before discharge. She moved frequently. She had been living in shelters, at times even in her car. No consistent address, no close family contact, no paper trail. And Tatiana, she was far too young to leave one. There were no hospital records for her, no preschool enrollment, no state assistant logs. It was like someone wanted them invisible. But the one question that kept coming back to investigators was absolutely chilling. Why were their remains found near Gilgo Beach? That same stretch of sand where Rex Howerman, the man arrested for 4 other murders, allegedly disposed of his victims. Could Tonya and her daughter be early victims of Rex Howerman, a now unmasked serial killer? Or was someone else hunting on that same ground? Detectives had not confirmed a link between Rex Howerman and Tonya Jackson, but the similarities of her case to his other victims is truly disturbing. 1. Remote disposal. 2. Plastic wrapping. 3. Secluded locations. 4. Total erasure. Whoever killed Tonya and Tatiana was methodical, precise, and completely detached from humanity. The Suffolk County DA held a press conference in 2024 and stated this: "We cannot rule out the possibility that these murders were committed by a separate individual. This may have been another serial killer who operated in the same area." Which means one thing, night dwellers: there may be more out there, and more that we have yet to find. Chapter 5, The Names We Almost Buried. Public reaction, spring 2024. You'd think that the world would stop when a mother and child are found murdered, when names are finally returned after 27 years of silence. But it didn't. The press covered it for 2 full days. A handful of outlets picked it up even. There were no vigils, no fundraisers, no politicians offering sound bites. A mother, a daughter, both black, both poor, both forgotten in life, and still marginalized in death. Tonya had served in the US military. She had fallen on hard times. She tried to protect her only child. And when she vanished, not one person reported her missing. Not friends, not family. Perhaps she didn't have a good relationship with them. Not the state. And poor Tatiana, at least she's not known as Baby Doe anymore. But she never even had a chance. Tatiana was found with her bracelet still on. Tiny clothes still clinging to her remains. 2 years old, left in a garbage bag. Like that's what she was. Garbage. Some people online mocked the case. Tonya got what she had coming to her. She was a prostitute. She was probably on drugs. Who brings a kid to that kind of life? But those people forgot something. They didn't know her. And that's what this system does best. It allows people to be erased until no one remembers that they were ever real. It wasn't until advocates pushed for a memorial that Tonya and Tatiana's story even made it into public forums. I never heard of it. And to this day, no one knows who called them in as missing persons. And do you want to know why? Because no one did. Not until 2024, just last year. Not until science gave them a voice. Chapter 6. Not the first, not the last. The broader pattern, 2024. When Tonya Denise Jackson was identified as Peaches in 2024, detectives began to re-examine similar cold cases, especially those with mutilation, dismemberment, and plastic wrapping. And they found patterns scattered along the Long Island coast, dump sites, unidentified bodies, and nearly all of them with one thing in common. No one came looking for them. In total, 11 bodies have been found near Gilgo Beach since 1996. Some victims were identified, some were not. Some were dismembered, some were whole, some were children. One victim, Jessica Taylor, she also was dismembered. Her torso was found miles away from her skull. Another woman's legs were discovered in a trash bag. just like Tanya's torso. And then there was Baby Doe, later identified as Tatiana, Tanya's daughter. But here's the thing. Their remains were found miles apart. And not only that, years apart. Now what does that mean? Which means the killer held on to Tatiana. That little girl's body wasn't dumped in 1997. She was dumped 14 years later in 2011. The horror in that detail is almost unspeakable. Tatiana may have lived years after her mother was did away with. Years. That's not confirmed, but forensic timelines suggest it is indeed possible. Which means someone kept her. Someone cared for her. Or worse, didn't. The timeline is fractured. The evidence is very thin. The truth's buried with the bodies. But this much is clear. Tanya and Tatiana were not the only ones. And whoever did this had done it before and may have did it again. Chapter 7. What they took with them. Unanswered questions. Ongoing. The case of Tonya Denise Jackson and her daughter Tatiana Marie Dykes is technically open, but truthfully, it's frozen. The remains have been found. The DNA has matched. The names have been restored. But the who, the why, and the how are still trapped in the shadows. We don't know where Tanya was last seen. We don't know who she trusted. We don't know what happened the night her torso was cut apart, placed in a bin, and left in the park. We don't know how long that Tatiana was alive after her mother died. I truly shudder to think. We don't know who separated them or why. And no one has ever been arrested. The Suffolk County Police say they are actively investigating this case. The FBI still lists the case on their unresolved homicide files. But without a witness, without a scene, and without someone to care, the case grows colder by the year. The last traces of Tanya's life, her military records, a few personal effects, no known medical history for her daughter. They're scattered like her remains once were. But she left behind more than a tattoo. She left a scar on a system that let her disappear without a sound. And the person who did this, they've walked free for over 25 years. And you never know, they may be watching from the shoreline still. Chapter 8, the ones you speak for. Memory as justice. Tanya Denise Jackson was never supposed to be remembered. Tatiana Marie Dykes was never supposed to be known. They were left like trash, hidden, discarded, silenced. But something survived them. A tattoo. One strand of DNA. A refusal to let them disappear again from the detectives that were on the case. Tanya and Tatiana were not famous. They didn't come from wealth. They didn't have names the world found convenient to mourn. But they mattered. Tanya served her country. She struggled like so many do, unseen. Tatiana never had a chance to tell her own story. But tonight, you listen to it. Every time we say their names, every time someone hears their story and feels something, we reclaim what the killer plainly tried to erase. This mother and daughter will never know justice in the courts, and their killer may never be known. But we can give them something else. Remembrance. Because that's where all healing begins, and where evil begins to lose. And that is the true crime portion of tonight. Let me see if I can find some pictures or some kind of sketch. There might have been an artist rendering. So this is a artist rendering a sketch of Tanya and Tatiana. I wonder what happened on that night when they went missing. Just sad. No one ever reported them. No one even noticed that they were missing. I don't know if it was the case where she was just out of contact with her family or what. But it's just so sad. I'll go to the comments now. You just hear this happening so much, you know? Hey, XJ. Hey, Truth Positive. Hey, Roby. Not one soul, not one family member came forward. Even for the baby girl, I mean, come on. There had to be someone that knew them, unless she just fell out of contact with her family, and that does happen a lot. So, I mean, that could be a strong possibility. But nothing, no records, no medical records, nothing. Very, very Melinda. Hey, Julie. Hey, James. Oh, thank you for hitting the first live goal of the evening. Thank you so, so much. Much appreciated. Thank you for the twisted trinkets. They are going toward keeping this live alive and thriving. Going toward merchandise, ordering books, you name it. So thank you so, so much. And if you go to the Twisted Trinkets in the Britain's Bewitched boutique, you will see a whole list of twisted trinkets there. Do as the moon calls you. Whether it's a small gift or a grand gesture, it's greatly appreciated. So thank you. The next one is about a absolutely chilling serial killer. I had never heard of this serial killer either, and if you have, let me know in the comments. The serial killer story for tonight is Kendall Francos. And let me tell you, it is one of the most horrifying and underreported serial killers in American history. It is absolutely chilling. And I know I say that about everything, but this really, really is. I don't get it. I don't understand how he went as long as he did. But we will be starting that story at approximately 9 o'clock. So if you want to go and walk the doggy, or you want to get the refreshment, popcorn, nachos, chocolate, think about me while you're doing that, then please go ahead. We will start the story promptly at 9 o'clock p.m. You want to talk after the live is over? Are you a subscriber? Then come on over to Discord after the stories are over, and we will dwell in darkness for a little bit longer. Thank you. This is Twisted Tales. I know, nachos sound amazing. No, I am not. This is a safe, warm, loving environment. We are a community that is growing. A community of people, night dwellers, who love scary stories, paranormal stories, ghost stories, true crime, serial killers, Appalachian lore, urban legends, fiction, short stories. If any of that interests you, hit that follow button and the notification bell and never miss another Twisted Tales Live. I am Bryn Morgan. I'm a horror author. It is a pleasure to be with you. Finally. I don't know why TikTok is doing that now. Making you verify and listen to audio to assure that you are the correct person. I'm back, y'all. Good audience tonight. I hope you are enjoying your time at Twisted Tales Live. My name is Bryn Morgan. I'm a horror author. Therefore, the love of scary stories and anything spooky or horror. I am absolutely thrilled that you are here with us tonight. As I was saying, we are a safe, warm, loving community, non-judgmental. We're like vampires, just not energy vampires. So if you're planning on coming in and being negative, this might not be for you. Hello, Rosie. Novelino, how are you? Hello, Queen. Queen Flores 99. Welcome to Twisted Tales Live. Thank you for the follow. The gods are amazing. The night dwellers are amazing. Even though the live will be over at 10, come on over to Discord if you're a subscriber, and come on in and chat with your Night Queen and your fellow night dwellers. Hello, Brit Baby, how are you? I would like to thank the following: Rosie Noveline, Brit Baby, Pamela, Melanie, Spitfire, Carissa, David, Roby, Palm on One, Mia, Sandy's Mama, hey honey, Magic Moon, Chrissy, you're a sweetheart. Thank you all so much. A Marine's daughter, Erica, Marilyn, Eric Jones, thank you. Kimmy, Eric, thank you for those lovely handheld hearts. Cece, thank you. Leslie Marie, Angel Vibes, I love your name. Spider Witch, I can't read that one, but it looks magical. Something about light in 84. Julie and Tara Millard, thank you so much for the twisted trinkets. 2 minutes. Are you ready to hear about a serial killer? Hello, Brooke. Hello, everyone. Oh, I'm so glad you like it, pretty Pisces. Thank you, Melinda. Hey, Brandy. If you want to talk to me, come over to Discord. We'll hang out and chat. And don't forget, tomorrow night is Paranormal Wednesday. What will it be about? You'll just have to wait and see. All right, let me put on some scary serial killer vibes. How is the music? Let me know on both platforms, please. I want you to have a pleasant experience. Oh, that's creepy music. Music good. Perfect. Do you get the creepy vibes? Do you feel them? Is everyone good in YouTube land? Are y'all having a ball over there? Do I see something about cotton candy? Everyone good? You are the creepy vibes. Music spot on. Very good. Ah, I know what I forgot tonight. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves. I knew something was missing. Oh, Mina was not happy at all because she wasn't being spotlighted. Sorry, Mina. Uh-oh. That failed. Well, we'll just have to deal with these tonight. I knew something was off. I just couldn't put my name on it. I couldn't place my finger. There we are. Much better. Let's change up the vibe. Everybody's settled back in and ready for the story. Lower your lights. Are those doors still locked? Pull your curtains nice and tight. Wrap yourself up in your warmest blanket as I begin the serial killer portion of tonight's Twisted Tales Live. When I told you that I had not heard of this serial killer, that's what I meant. But perhaps you have. His name was Kendall Francos. And this is one of the most horrifying and underreported serial killers in American history. The fact that he lived in the same house with his victims' bodies, with his family never noticing, is deeply disturbing. The story is a slow burn, psychological horror. Are you ready for it? Let me know in the comments. Tonight, we are opening the door to one of the most disturbing true crime cases you will likely ever, that you've never heard of. If you have, let your fellow night dwellers know in the comments. He was a school janitor. He lived in a modest 2-story home with his parents. He waved at neighbors. And for over 2 years, Kendall Francos was hiding the rotting corpses of 8 missing women. Not in the backyard, not in a shed, not buried in graves. No. Inside his home, in the walls, in the crawl spaces, in the attic, above his parents' and sister's head. How? And no one, not the community, not the cops, not even his own mother, suspected what was breathing beneath the floors. Tonight we enter the house at 99 Fulton Avenue. This is the story of Kendall Francos, the Poughkeepsie killer. Have you heard of him? Chapter 1. The house on Fulton Avenue, Poughkeepsie, New York, 1996. It was the kind of neighborhood that seemed quiet because it had no reason not to be. The lawns were patchy but cared for. It wasn't the most wealthy of neighborhoods, but it was safe. The houses were modest. The people, ordinary, blue-collar workers, mostly. At 99 Fulton Avenue lived a large man in his mid-20s named Kendall Francos. He stood over 6'4". He weighed over 250 pounds. He was often seen walking to and from his job as a janitor at Arlington Middle School. Kendall lived with his parents, Benny and Pauletta, and his youngest sister. By all accounts, they were a normal family. They were private. They didn't attend block parties or barbecues, but they were a respectable family. Attended church. First person, a neighbor. I just always felt like something was up with that house across the street. It had this musky smell to it. I told my husband I couldn't stand to be out there in the yard with the kids because it smelled so bad. I had some visitors over one night, and they were like, "What is that god-awful smell?" It was an old house. All of our houses were. And besides, we don't cry. No one guessed that beneath the floors and in the attic, 8 women's decomposing bodies had been stuffed between insulation and garbage bags. All of them had gone missing. All of them had last been seen within walking distance of the Francos' home. Kendall Francos had a troubled childhood, chronic illnesses, obesity, skin conditions so severe that teachers remembered how other students refused to sit near him. He had a condition that would make his neck darken, and even if he took a bath, it still showed. And the kids thought that it was a ring of dirt around his neck, but that was not the case. Kendall was bullied, isolated, and ignored. They called him Stinky. He joined the army after high school, but it didn't last long. Medical discharges, disciplinary issues. He came back to Poughkeepsie, took the job at the school, and kept mostly to himself. But he had a secret, one that started in 1998, when the first woman vanished. Her name was Wendy Myers, a 30-year-old mother and a known prostitute. She disappeared in October. Her family reported her missing. The police took a report, but nothing came of it. 6 months later, another woman went missing. Then another, and another. All women with similar backgrounds, all within the same radius, and all last seen near Fulton Avenue. Francos had already begun his collection. One by one, he lured them back, strangled them, and kept their bodies in the house he shared with his family. No one noticed. Not for 2 years, I would notice. I have a very strong sense of smell. I would know if there were dead people in the attic. Chapter 2, The Smell of Secrets. Poughkeepsie, 1997. By the summer of 1997, the disappearances were no longer random blips on police radar. They were beginning to form a pattern though. 8 women, similar age ranges, similar lifestyles, all of them from the same struggling neighborhoods in Poughkeepsie, all of them known to walk the streets at night, selling themselves to make rent, buy food, feed their addictions. In short, women that society didn't look for right away. And the chilling part is Kendall Francos knew that. Inside the house at 99 Fulton Avenue, the walls were starting to breathe decay. First person, a family friend. I remember that the Franco's daughter wasn't feeling well. She had been out of school for a few days, and I just wanted to come over and bring her her schoolwork so she wouldn't get behind. From the moment that I got out of the car, I noticed this terrible stench. It smelled like rotten eggs and garbage that had been left out in the dumpster too long. You know that smell when you lift the lid and it almost takes your breath away, how stinky that it is? That's what it smelled like to me. And I remember when I was talking with Miss Franco's, I had to really control myself not to gag. And she didn't seem fazed by it at all. I even commented on the smell. Is something rotten? First person, a neighbor. The only way that I can describe that smell was it was an earthy rot. Sometimes that wind would shift and along came that strong odor. It smelled horrible. I told my husband, it smells like something's died. He just shook his head. First person, a teacher. I never got really close to Mr. Franco's. We had had a party one day, and it was a Friday, and I had called up to the front office to ask if he could bring some trash bags to pick up the cupcake tins and the cups. I hated to ask him to do anything for me. Sometimes he just would like reek of mildew. And it was just really hard to stand there and you know how kids are, middle schoolers, they're outspoken, sometimes too much. But one of them said, "You smell rotten. What did you do, rolling eggs?" They couldn't stand to be near him. I stood out in the hallway one day and he was mopping the floors. And they were calling him stinky behind his back. But he did. He smelled horrible. But people rationalized it. Maybe it was the plumbing at the Franco's house. Maybe it was a dead animal that was trapped in the walls and could never get out. Maybe the reason that Kendall smelled the way he did was because he wasn't bathing properly. No one ever imagined it was bodies. Bonnie and Pauletta Franco's, Kendall's parents, they claimed that they were oblivious to it. They lived there. They breathed that air. They walked past the same closed doors and attic ladders as Kendall did. First person, Kendall's mother. Kendall's a big boy. I just thought it was his hygiene. he's had this chronic issue since he was a boy, and he would take baths, but it's like it didn't help him. I felt so bad for him, so bad as his mother. We took him to doctors. We still don't know what it was that made him smell as bad as he did. He had to wear this almost like a type of deodorant on his neck to keep the smell down. No, I did not question the locked attic. I did not question the locked crawl space. He was my son. Yes, he did stop leaving the house as often as usual, but I just never thought my son could do that. I can't believe he's a monster. They noticed that he seemed different. People commented that Kendall seemed more agitated, more secretive. First person, Kendall's sister. It was Christmas, and I had been with my grandparents for the weekend, and I was bringing some gifts home, and I wanted to hide them up in the attic. I hated that house. I tried to stay over at my friends or my grandparents as much as I could, but I was walking toward the middle of the hallway, and I was about to pull down the attic door. Kendall just steps out. "Get away from there!" I remember I joked that and said, "What are you hiding? A dead body up there?" I had no idea that that was what it was. I can't go in that house anymore. Meanwhile, the police were starting to piece things together. The disappearances were becoming far too frequent now. And one woman, Catherine March, had barely escaped an assault in the same neighborhood. First person, Catherine Marsh. I've been down on my luck. I haven't been doing really well financially. I was doing what I needed to do to be able to make it. You can sit there and judge me all you want, but I was doing what had to be done. Nobody else was helping me. I was walking down the street, and I saw him. I was seeing Kendall Francos before. We lived just a couple houses down from one another, and sometimes he would be walking home from work, and I would be walking home too. He was a large black male, very large. And I remember that I was so high that he came up to me and he told me I could go back to his place and I could sleep it off. And that actually sounded really good to me. I was desperate. And my daddy had told me if I came home again the way I was that night, he was going to kick me out and not let me back in. So I thought it would be safe for me. I don't remember his face fully. I just remember him grabbing me around my waist and rushing me toward his house. Once we got in his bedroom that was upstairs, I still can't remember his face fully, but I remember his hands around my neck. And I remember calling out his name. I was being choked, but I remember his name and I called it out. I said, "Kendall, please." I managed to get away from him. I stumbled down the stairs. I made it out the front door into the neighborhood. I reported him to the police, but I didn't remember what his face was, and I never understood why they didn't go and get him. Why didn't they go and get him? Catherine made a report. Still, no arrests were made. No warnings were posted. And inside 99 Fulton Avenue, the air grew heavier, smellier. The house was becoming a tomb. Chapter 3. The Woman Who Lived. Fall 1998. The second escape. I wasn't supposed to survive. I know I wasn't. Kendall Francos had followed the same script for 2 years. Lure, strangle, hide the body, and forget. But in September of 1998, Mr. Kendall Francos miscalculated. First person, Tina Ives. I was 29. I'm not proud of what I had to do for a living. I'd seen violence, and I'd lived through it. I had my share of abuse. I can't wipe that night out with him. I was on the corner of the street. I hadn't had a good night. I didn't make any money. Car pulled up beside me, and I didn't like the looks of the guy in the car, so I turned and looked, and I saw this tall man standing beneath the streetlight, just watching me. When the car moved on, he was calm and soft-spoken. His voice was almost gentle to me, and that's what I needed at the time. He told me that he was different from other men. He said that he was lonely, and he just wanted to talk to me. So he brought me back to his home, and the moment that door closed, something shifted in that guy. I had barely gotten my shoes off. I was sitting on the couch with my back to the kitchen. He asked me if I wanted water. And then I felt his hands go around my neck. He wanted to hurt me. He needed to hurt me, and I could feel it. He grabbed me by my neck and forced me into a back room. This was the same room where other women had taken their last breath. I knew if I didn't fight him, I would not live to see another day. And I prayed, please let me get out of this alive, and I'll never do what I do anymore. So Tina fought back hard. She scratched him, she screamed, she kicked. And what did Kendall Francos do? He panicked. I just remember getting out of the room and running through the kitchen to the back door, and I was screaming, and I was naked, and I was bleeding, and I was barefoot. And I just remember running out into the street, and thank God there was a neighbor there, and she saw me, and she called 911. When police arrived, Kendall was calm as he could be. Almost blank in his expression. He admitted he had hired her, but claimed she became erratic with him. She's just crazy, he said. You know how these girls are, he said. But Tina wasn't crazy, and she wasn't lying. She had marks on her throat from his fingers and hands, bruises on her arms, and she was adamant. He was going to kill me. I could feel it. The officers took him in for questioning, and this time someone decided to look just a bit deeper. First person. Detective. When we were called to Mr. Franco's house, the first thing that hit me before we even walked up on the porch steps was the smell. We searched the house, and I have never smelled anything so horrible in all my life. We couldn't stand to be inside for more than a few minutes at a time. It stank so bad. I remember a couple of the officers, they went up into the attic. They said that the floorboards didn't seem to fit right. They removed all this insulation. They pulled back these trash bags. What we found in that house, it unraveled me. It unraveled every officer there. I left the force. I just couldn't do it anymore. We found rotting remains, dozens of bones, piece of clothing, human hair, all packed and decomposing. And this is the thing, all packed and decomposing right above his parents' bedroom. How? How in God's name did you not smell that? Kendall Fragos had been hiding 8 dead women in his family home for 2 years. Chapter 4. I did it. All of it. The confession. September 1998. When police brought Kendall Fragos into the interrogation room, they expected resistance, denial, excuses, maybe even a lawyer. But that's not what they got. Instead, the man that they had nicknamed Stinky sat calmly, adjusted his glasses, and said, in a very calm, very even, very low voice, very monotone voice, I did it. All of it. Every one of them. For 28 hours straight, Kendall Fragos talked. No emotion, no hesitation, no remorse whatsoever. He described in detail how he lured each woman by offering money or a warm place to rest, a hot meal in their belly, and then once inside, he'd lose control. Why did you do it, Kendall? Why did you take the lives of all these women? Couldn't help it. I didn't want to. Well, sometimes I did. I just did it. Kendall went into more detail. He strangled them with his bare hands. He loved watching their eyes bulge, he said. He loved to listen to them take their last breath. Then he'd stash the bodies somewhere in the house, a crawl space, a closet, behind a furnace up in the attic. In the interrogation room, he actually grinned when he said, I got pretty good at hiding them. When asked how many women that he had unalived, he paused and then calmly answered, 8. The names he gave matched the missing persons reports over the past 2 years. Wendy Myers, Gina Barone, Kathleen Hurley, Mary Healy, Sandra French, Michelle Eason, Catherine Marsh, Katina Newmaster. Some had been missing for over a year. Some had only been missing for a few weeks. But they had all ended up in the same place, inside Kendall Franco's house. Inside the walls, above the ceilings, below his family's feet. First person, a detective. I was just stunned. Not just by what Mr. Franco said, but how he said it. There wasn't any tremble in his voice, no grief. Just facts. It was really chilling when he said they were already gone when I finished. I didn't think they'd be missed. Who's going to miss a bunch of prostitutes? I think what chilled us more than anything was he never buried these women. Never tried to hide them outside of the home. Mr. Francos wanted them close. And he just lived among the decay. It was control, power. Kendall Franco said that he would watch the news reports, read the missing persons flyers, and then he would go home to the bodies and talk to them. Chapter 5. They didn't want the bodies. October 1998. Poughkeepsie turns on itself. Once Kendall Francos confessed, he knew the news hit like a bomb. 8 missing women, all found inside one suburban house. A house where school buses passed every morning, where children played on the street, where the mothers, his mother, watered flowers. And all the time, these women were never more than just a staircase away. The town of Poughkeepsie erupted. Police were blamed, neighbors were blamed, the Francos family was blamed. People asked the question no one could answer. A news reporter asked Kendall Franco's mother. She was out in the yard, and he just pulled up in a van and rushed out and started recording her. Miss Francos, hey, I'm John Mitchell with News 7. Ma'am, can I ask you something? No comment. How does a man do away with 8 women and hide them in your house and you don't know? Can you tell me that, ma'am? Can you tell the viewers that? Get off my property. Vigils were held, but they were small, quiet, because the victims, most of them, had records, prostitution, drugs, among other issues. They were labeled as throwaways. Even in their passing, they were judged. Funeral homes in Dutchess County refused to take the bodies, citing lack of family, citing cost, citing reputation. No one wanted to bury these women. And for a time, the victims, just like in life, were left to rot in a cold, bureaucratic corner of indifference. Then came the protest, the signs, the community outrage. These women had names. They were someone's daughter, someone's mother, someone's cousin, someone's granddaughter, someone's friend. We let them die. Kendall Francos, meanwhile, sat in jail. He had nothing to say about the town's reaction, nothing to say about the families crying on TV, nothing to say about the funerals. He simply said, "They should have stayed away from me." Kendall Francos was charged with 8 counts of first-degree murder. The death penalty was debated, but in the end he pled guilty in exchange for life without parole. He was sent to Sullivan Correctional Facility. He would never be free again. But he didn't care. "I'm fine," he said when he was asked. "I've always liked living alone. I'll make it here." Chapter 6. The Prison Years, 2000 to 2014. Sullivan Correctional Facility. Kendall Francos didn't fight the charges at all. He didn't go to trial. He didn't beg for leniency. He just pled guilty. And after he pled guilty, he sat down and he just stopped talking. For years, no one heard a word from him. Behind the bars of Sullivan Correctional Facility, he lived like a ghost. Guards described him as cold, but compliant. He read. He wrote occasionally. He rarely spoke. He didn't receive visitors. He didn't write letters. Even the most notorious serial killers, Bundy, Gacy, BTK, they all craved attention. But not Kendall Francos. He vanished into himself. But there was one moment. In 2006, an investigative reporter was allowed to meet with him. The reporter asked him one simple question. "Mr. Francos, do you regret what you did? Do you regret the lives that you took?" Francos blinked slowly, and then he said, "They're not talking anymore, so I don't have to." That was it. No names, no emotions, no remorse, just silence. Kendall was diagnosed with morbid obesity, chronic diabetes, and several cardiovascular conditions. Inmates said he had become like a statue, barely speaking, barely moving. The prison assigned him a single-bed medical unit, and there he remained until September the 11th, 2014. Kendall Francos passed of natural causes. No final confession, no apology, no answers, just silence, like the house that he had left behind. Chapter 7. The house that wouldn't forget. Poughkeepsie, present day. After Kendall Franco's arrest in 1998, 99 Fulton Avenue became a landmark of whispered horror. Can you imagine? The town wanted it gone. The neighbors begged for it to be demolished. But for years, it just sat there, empty, rotting, stained. They tried to call it, but no one wanted to live in a house where 8 women decomposed in the attic. One offer came in from a developer. It fell through when the buyer learned the full story. Another buyer was warned by neighbors. Did they tell you? Tell me what? What happened in that house? No. Ma'am, if you move in there, don't go in that attic. Eventually, the house was boarded up, left to fade into the background, but it never fully did. Locals say they still avoid walking past it at night. One neighbor in an interview in 2020 said, "I'm going to be honest with you right now. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in spirits. I don't believe in apparitions. I just don't. But that place, 99 Fulton Avenue, that place has a weight to it. Like the walls still remember what happened there." Some say you can still smell it when it rains. No, not the rot, not mildew, but memory. There's no memorial for the victims in Poughkeepsie. No plaque, no stone, no garden. Just that boarded up house and the names: Wendy, Gina, Kathleen, Mary, Sandra, Michelle, Catherine, Katina, fading in old police files. When asked about what the town could do now, one of the original detectives said, "Every time that I'm not able to solve a case, I feel like I felt them. And you can look at it any way you want. We felt them in life, and then we turned right around and we felt them in death. We can't change that, but I can remember." Chapter 8, The Ones We Forgot. Eulogy for the Unheard. There were 8. Not nameless, not faceless. Wendy Myers, Gina Barone, Kathleen Hurley, Mary Healy, Sandra French, Michelle Eason, Catherine Marsh, and Katina Newmaster. All these women had families. They had dreams. Yes, they had had a hard time in life. They had addictions. They had criminal records. They had trauma. But no one No one deserves to die so cruelly, so selfishly. When they went missing, the headlines were small, if there were headlines at all. The assumption was always the same. Oh, she left. She's an addict. She left. She'll turn up someday. But they didn't. And no one asked why. Not until it was too late. These women were hunted by Kendall Francos, by a man who knew no one was looking for them, a man who had no mercy, no fear of consequence, and worse, he was right. Not one looked until one of them escaped, and I am so glad that Tina did. So the question becomes, what if she hadn't? What if Tina Ives hadn't gotten away? Would Kendall have gotten away with more women? Probably. Would the bodies still be inside that house? I would hope not. Would anyone still be looking for them? I don't know. Poughkeepsie doesn't talk about the case much anymore. It's buried beneath real estate records and boarded up memories. But the women are still gone, are still unnamed in many hearts, still dismissed in whispers. And until that changes, until society values every life, there will be more like Kendall Francos, and more houses like 99 Fulton Avenue. And that is tonight's serial killer portion of Twisted Toes Live. Never heard that case. Never heard of it, but I won't forget it now. Will you? Well, the time has come for Twisted Tales Live to end. Now it's time to try to forget. Try to forget everything you've heard tonight. And rest warmly and safely in your beds. But in the early morning hours, around 3 a.m., that's when I usually show up. You see, it's in the darkest corridors when your dreams fade away and the nightmares enter that you belong to me. I'll see you there. Citrine, come on. Let's go. Come on. Come on. No. No, ma'am. Let's go. No. Time to go. You're a good girl. You've been here for 2 hours. Good job. And you were good. You were a good girl. Yeah. Really good. Loved it. Come on. Come on, let's go. Come on. Come on, Bitsy. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Let's go.